Never blame the patient or the circumstance, because then you don't get any better. If you blame the circumstance or anything outside of you, you don't take responsibility for it to learn and get better. So I want to get into this kind of what we call the 5-figure communication, because my care plans, a lot of them with chiropractic and regenerative medicine, they're 5 figures. So I'm talking to people still that are broke. Like, so where my clinic is right now, the new one we just built that I go to once a week, it's the highest concentration of retired veterans that are part of the VA. So they're on a fixed income. They don't have money, and they think the VA is going to pay for all their care. The rest of the community is Medicare, who think the same thing, that Medicare is going to cover everything. So when I go in there and do 17 closes, 14 of them are VA Medicare. It's that person, yet we're closing them on 5 figures of cash. And so again, this is just communication. Now, just kind of in stopping there for a moment, realize that you want to fall in love with this. You want to fall in love with difficult communication. That's why I'm such a just raving fan of Roberto, because it's all about learning better communication. When I hear this, I get sometimes emotionally unintelligent when I'm talking to like a doctor or their staff, and somebody says, "Oh, the people can't afford that in our area." He doesn't know our area. Saying that about me, and that's one of the things I have trouble not saying anything that I wish I didn't say. Because I'm like, it's not the area, it's the communication. And so I was telling them, listen, don't worry about the area or the money that people have or the insurance that's around you. It's the communication. I'll teach you how to do this. It's all learnable. So you guys want to fall in love with the game of better communication. So just like Kevin Costner and just think about the ones you lost. I think about the ones I lost too, but it's not so much regretting it as it is replaying it in my head to think, how could I have said it better? Yeah. What did I miss? How do I improve my communication based on that feedback? How do I evaluate the objections and crush those objections the next time so they don't show up again? I don't go, oh, well, this, and I want you to hear this one, this is really important. I don't ever go, they didn't have the money. That was the problem. Or, oh, you don't understand their insurance. They really wanted the insurance to cover. How many of you guys use that as an excuse sometimes? It was the money. Never blame the patient or the circumstance, because then you don't get any better. If you blame the circumstance or anything outside of you, you don't take responsibility for it to learn and get better. Anytime somebody gives me an excuse, I look within and say, what did I miss in my communication? How do I do it better the next time? And I do it better either structurally, like I struck out in somebody a couple weeks ago, where he was military guy, really strong, so we didn't have him bring his spouse to the report. What's the first thing he says after I showed him the plan? What do you think he said? I asked my wife. I'm like, okay, if you don't mind, I'm going to go stand in front of a truck right now, because I've been teaching this for 30 years, to never do a care plan without the spouse there, and I did it with you. I'm an idiot. So I didn't blame him. I realized I broke my own structural rule, and as a result, I got my butt whooped, just like it happens 90% of the time the spouse isn't there. So sometimes it's structural, and sometimes you go back and it's just communication. And usually what will happen when more advanced people miss is we got soft in some critical area that you can't afford to go soft on. So I got to wrap up. So I'm not going to get into this, but this is and I'll send this out to everybody. But there's 8 questions under the objection. So anytime you're objecting, I know that as I get into either further communication in that moment or the next time when I go to close, I look at the objection under the objection, that there's questions under the objection. So for example, is it even desirable? I had this, again, military guy with the VA came in the other day, and he says, well, I'm 68 years old. Should I really even worry about this? So he's asking, is that desirable? Just one other one that I think is really important is this, let's take a good one. Am I my brother's keeper? So with that same guy, he has a wife, he has a young daughter that both need him, and he's like, well, why worry about me? Who cares about me? It's like, well, because you're the one that has to put their oxygen masks on. You got to put your own on first and take care of yourself. So there's a lot of these underlying objections that if you don't address them with, especially with your more difficult cases, that you didn't answer that question, overcome that objection, so you get a no.